most people who are experiencing ChatGPT for the first time or any of the large generative AI models think this is the magical era. We've completely rewritten the foundational rules of computing. Some of those are true, but the reality is there's been an extensive amount of work, diligence, and effort that have been put into getting us to where we are now. I call this section the rise of the model, largely because these aren't completely new technologies or completely new pieces of information that just popped up. This has been work that's been going on for an extended period of time. What we are seeing, though, is we're seeing models get larger than they ever were before. The ability to parse data on the open internet, the ability to incorporate business-specific context, and most importantly, the ability to incorporate individual context is the really big power that we've seen thus far. As models get bigger, the prevalence and power of these models also expands, which leaves people and enterprises alike asking, how can I make this model work for me? This actually is the premise and the backing reason that we built efficiently, to help organizations use their specific data, again, with some of the new generative AI models that we've seen pop up. That ordinarily, when we talk about data engineering as a whole, or data as a whole, it sounds like a lot of work. It's a lot of business ownership, a lot of data ownership, and it usually looks like something like this. An organization has some information that they have, in this case, PowerPoints and PDFs, that they want to use with some of these models. In this case, just the OpenAI logo. Now, if this was the case for any enterprise and any organization, our jobs would be done. Unfortunately, generally looks more like this, where we have not just standard business storing information like documents or PowerPoints. Now code is going into these models: PHP, JavaScript, SQL, Java. Additionally, unstructured other kinds of information, text files, or structured data itself, HTML. There's a ton of information kind of flowing in to one of these models. To take this information and extract it and put it into a singular model would be challenging on its own. But yet again, we have this situation where enterprises not only want to use their data with a singular model, but they want to have business-specific models. It's models that are particularly good at generating SQL, for example, or models that are particularly good at parsing legal documents or legal corpuses of information. Now, not only that, if we look at the modern enterprise, data generally exists in a silo. An individual team manages a set of data or a set of these files. More so than not, when there comes one silo, comes multiple silos. Each one of these teams manages a separate set of all of those PDFs, PowerPoint presentations, Java files, SQL scripts, anything that you could potentially want. And compounding this one step further comes the fact that enterprises themselves have models that they want to have both in the cloud, meaning endpoints of ChatGPT, as well as on-prem. If this picture is pretty overwhelming, it should be. The reality is right now, we have these foundational, completely game-changing technologies and model sizes that yield huge amounts of benefits and power, but only if you can take the information that is specific to your use case and feed it into those models. The initial and original theory was that there would be a rise of a bunch of AI engineers or DevOps engineers who would come in and focus on this problem space. More so than not, in virtually every customer I've worked with, we've seen this not pan out that way. It's usually the data engineers that come in that actually are the catalyst for change and the catalyst for incorporating new pieces of information into this ecosystem.